I'm gonna do that before it goes again.
Mm,
Okay, funding and financials after a whole slew of technical issues here. How to fund your restaurant, what to do, and we'll give you two perspectives from, from
yeah.
Brandon's and then myself too. But I think I'll start with my own. I did it. I had money, so I started it. That's the
Bootstrap.
whole, yeah,
Bootstrap. I will be honest, and I'm gonna just say two things. So I've opened restaurants a couple different ways, and I will be honest, the lowest possible capital you can invest is the best. And here's what I'll say. What do I mean by that? Bootstrap it. Bootstrap
hmm
it. Now, at some point, you will need more money. It just is what it is. The restaurants are capex heavy, but they're a long-term investment. It's not like real estate, right? So real
yeah,
estate, you can do fix and flip and you get your money right back. No, with restaurants, it's, 2 to 3 years, right, before you even show green. And it's a lot of overhead expense. But the what I would recommend if you want to get into it's the barrier to entry is low. And
yeah,
what I would recommend is a ghost kitchen of some sort, right? Because and somebody told me this the other day, and I agree with it 100%. Before I wasn't going to agree with it, but like if I were going to go do this on my own right now, what I would do is I would go to a city. Okay. I'd open up a ghost kitchen that had multiple, I would try multiple concepts. I would have
yeah,
four ghost kitchens and I would have fried chicken, burgers, sandwiches, and, pizza, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
whatever the case may be, ramen, and I would see which one just absolutely takes off.
hmm
That's the one I'm going to do for my brick and mortar because it's a proven concept.
yeah,
Good example. When we did Ember, and this is kind of what we're fighting with right now, I kept it very loose, right? It's not a steakhouse, it's not a boom, it's not a this, it's a fine dining restaurant
hmm
because sometimes you have to pivot and change concepts.
of
And
course,
so I think what's really important is when you're going to put your business plan together and figure out what you want to do, keep the overhead low, like as possible. Now, there's a better side to that, and that's private equity or funding from investors or what I recommend is find a commercial real estate investor in a strip mall or in
hmm
a that has multiple buildings and wants to rent it out, and see if they're willing to do any TI, which is called tenant improvement.
yeah,
That can really help. Another way that I think this is the way I would roll nowadays is to find a restaurant that went out of business or that already is pre-existing. And
yeah,
what I call this is a second generation restaurant. And
yeah,
that's what Grano is, right? So Grano was called the filling station before, and this is a second gen restaurant. Now, I will say it's a double-edged sword. So obviously the restaurant failed for a reason,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
keep that in mind. Now that could be location, that could be management, that could be lucky for me, it was poor management, the last
yeah.
restaurant. And I dug deep. I was like, hey, why did this restaurant not work? Blah blah blah. And it was really easy. The previous owners were retiring. They did the biggest mistake you can ever do, and they passed off the business to their drug addicted alcoholic son.
Oh wow,
And yep. And so it's just sucks, man. Like, and I hate to say it, but there's a ton of people retiring out there that their kids don't want to do that shit. They like the kids grew up in the restaurant business, man. They're scarred for life. They have no interest in taking over the biz. It
yeah.
is a grind. And so that's kind of like that's my summary in quick of how to fund your restaurant. Um and here's the thing, number two, or what advice would you give about financing?
Yeah.
I will I will be honest, I think it is super tough to try to use an investor. I'll just be honest. Like, for me, I think what's really important is find partners that believe in you and believe in your vision, but
Yeah.
also like make it crystal clear that usually restaurants aren't profitable in the first year, right?
No,
First
that's
year is like you
important
don't know what
too.
the business levels are going to be. You don't know what the
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like because like I hate to say it, but it's just like for me, I just speak from experience. It's just super tough when you're grinding away and the numbers aren't clicking, but it's your first year of business and like it's just restaurants are a high fail rate, and it's
Yeah.
really important you get the formula correct, meaning the food and beverage formula, consistent revenue, and and it's amazing to me that after 1 year of living here in Hamilton, I was like, okay, we need an Italian restaurant downtown, and it's just like,
Yeah,
dude, it's I mean that restaurant it's the breadwinner, and
it's
it's
churning. Yeah,
like the numbers are good,
yeah,
overhead's low, like it's just I would highly recommend to figure out a system that works. But guess what? Here's the reality: if Grano, an Italian restaurant, with the look and feel and the chairs and the brick wall, like if that concept didn't work, I would have a tough time changing that. Do
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So what I recommend is be ready. Like, just don't go for the dream, go for the green. Right?
yeah.
That's what I tell everybody.
Because I was like,
So
I was mentioning for so
yeah.
specifically for my end, right?
Anything
So
else on that, Casey?
yeah, yeah. Because like I was gonna say for so I'm gonna do the investor way. So, but also I need like immediate funds on like cash on hand, pretty much to bootstrap essentially the new space. But I think I just want to mention if you're just starting out, the banks are not gonna loan you capital at all, like because you haven't even been in business. I learned this
No.
the hard way because I was just like, what do you mean you can't give me a loan for I don't know 20 or 30 grand or some shit? They're like, nah, dude, try in 3 years. I'm like, what? So I guess that's a hard
Yeah.
realization when you're just first starting out. But eventually you'll get to it. But after the 3 years are like now I can get the loans fairly easy. I've been in business 3 years now. But the first couple years,
Yeah.
bro, nobody wants to touch you at all. So it's gonna be difficult
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Well,
But
let's
definitely go with like an
yeah,
easier
and
concept.
let's touch base on that. Yeah, let's touch base on that because I think the biggest thing, and I'll just give advice. What I realized is, open your LLC as soon as possible,
Yeah,
right? And that's like get that dialed in because without the LLC, you can and figure out how you want to set up the structure of the business, and because without that, you can't do anything, right? You can't have vendors, you can't have you can't payroll, you can't do
hmm,
anything. And so you're 100% right. And the advice I will give is and I hate to say it, and I don't want to get super political, but
yeah,
and actually I won't. The reality is if your business is profitable, right? What you want to do is you can take 4 months of bank statements and show cash flow,
hmm,
and you can loan on this amount, with the bank,
yeah,
or you can use business credit, which is I would agree 10 times better, but it's also a thorn in the side if you don't get the one with 12%, or I'm sorry, the 12 months no interest or 18
yeah,
months no interest. But a good example is they'll leverage your personal credit score with your business, your brand new business, or not,
hmm,
your newer business, I should say. And I think that's kind of like one of the other ways I'll say, you can get equipment, you can get, you pay payroll, you can, make sure you have the inventory to start the business, right? I think that's
yeah,
the biggest thing. Restaurants can be cash eating monsters, and you know this, Casey. It's like you go to
hmm,
build out a restaurant and you need a hood system, man, you're already talking about 200 grand. Like,
yeah,
it's like
easy.
I'm the next kitchen I'm building, all electric, don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
don't bother me, because it's just too spendy unless the hood is pre-existing. And like the hood I have at Grano was pre-existing, but
Yeah,
it's a piece of shit. It really
yeah,
sucks. Like, it doesn't do its job. You know what I mean? But it's like, I just crossed it off the list because we installed 2 3 captive airs at other restaurants, and it's just like,
hmm,
man, it's so capex heavy, man. Like, it's just crazy. But I think that leads into our next question. What are some hidden costs? Like,
correct.
hidden costs that you don't see is small wares, supplies,
Yeah,
uniforms, setting up the subscriptions you need to be successful. Meaning, your POS, your reservation, your like, dude, there's so many hidden costs with POS
hmm,
machines. It absolutely drives me crazy. And that's why, like, currently, I can't talk about it, but currently I am working with a POS system that is an all in one system. And I don't want to, and like, hey, just give me everything.
yeah,
And I don't want to, oh, this, yeah, oh, you want this? It's 10.99. Oh, you want this? It's 9.99. Oh, it's
yeah,
no, man, I'm so sick of that shit. Like, excuse my language, but like, God dang. It's
hmm,
like, we need a POS machine that does labor, scheduling, pulls reports.
hmm,
You can do your inventory, you can track your cogs, you can do, like, I want it all. You can do online ordering. You have a website. Like, we just
yeah,
need an all-in-one, restaurant powerhouse that it has no hidden cost. It's a flat fee each month, whatever. It's like, oh, you want two KDSs? Okay, that's going to be $39.99 plus
Yeah, that's
an
the most annoying
additional
part.
$39.99 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, oh, well, you need the KDS subscription. What? What are you talking about? Like, oh, you want a handheld order taker? Okay, that's going to be $30
200
a month.
bucks.
Like, it's just
Yeah.
it's silly, and here's another thing. I will be honest, and I don't know if you cover these, but credit card transaction fees,
Yeah, I
right?
was about to say credit card
Chef,
transactions.
Big Dog, do you include in your cost, or do you pass on the cost?
So here's the thing. I am team. I'm taking it on because I can write it off. I don't think a lot of people understand this too. As a business, I guess I want to say I want to be careful how I say it. Different towns, different states have different ordinances. So at least in New Jersey, credit card charges as a business I can write off. So last year, just in credit card alone, bro, $9,200 just in credit card fees. That's insane. But for
Yeah,
me, as a small business, I can write that straight into my taxes. So it benefits me for the time being. But I'm team. I'll take it on. That's not a big deal.
yeah. So I used to be team. I'll take it on. Like,
Hmm.
no, I'll put in the menu mix, brother. We have no choice now. I looked
No,
at
no,
what
I
we
know.
paid last year. Listen, we paid 30 grand in credit card transaction
Whew.
fees. Uh, yeah, I mean, it open for nine
Wild.
months. And the thing is like now, we're going to put some wordage in seven room. Hey,
Yeah.
you can pay with cash. Hey, pay with the check. Don't
Yeah.
bring here. But at the bottom of my menu, and because I used to hate this, like at hotels, you don't do that shit because you can cover the
Yeah.
costs. But like
Of course.
in a freestanding restaurant, I have to pass that cost on. You know what I'm saying? Because my
Yeah.
overhead's so expensive, right? And so it's like, but the worst part is you don't. It rubs people the wrong way, but they understand because now
Yeah.
here in Montana, where I'm at in this town, everybody passes off the credit card transaction fee
Okay.
because there's so
It's
many
like
small
normal
businesses.
now.
Now, exactly. And
Yeah.
so when we first rolled it out, like I was nervous, man. We had a couple people complain, but everybody does it on
Yeah.
my block. Everybody does it everybody does it in the area. And so,
Yeah.
3.5 is too much, man. Like it's just too
I
much.
know.
And for me, it's just like, man, it's like, you got to survive. And it's like,
Yeah.
so we have consistently anywhere from 2 grand to 3 grand in credit card transactions each month. And now it's a break even, right? Like I'm not overcharging,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can't
Correct.
do that. But, I'm clear about it. I put it on the bottom of my menu, but it's something I thought I would never do ever until now.
No, no, I know.
Now,
Because like, not a lot of people like talk about this because that's like one of the most upfront hitting costs. Like, what would you do if you're getting stipend like 600, $700 just on credit card fees? But like, I'm playing the long game where I don't want to say the long game, but I can afford it for now. But like,
yeah,
I can only assume when I'm like a normal like 700, 800,000 a year on my business, bro, that becomes like 15, 17 grand, bro. That's
yeah,
literally like 6 months of rent. So like, what do I do then? So I guess I'll have that conversation with myself a little later on
yeah,
down the line. But for now, I can take it on. But eventually,
yeah,
I think
yeah. That's
unfortunately
why.
it's gonna
Yeah,
be
I know
passed
it's
on.
just so much. And bro, you're in
I'm in New
yeah,
Jersey,
and you're in Jersey, so you got state tax and you got
dude. It's rough out here. Yeah. So
yeah, and I think that's super important to note. Like, there's advantages to having a small business, and then there's disadvantages
yeah,
because people want to pay less. And I
of
think what's
course.
happening is a new turn. And this is what I try to tell people. Like, your food is going to be more expensive nowadays. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I urge people to know that I understand, like, when you go to the grocery store and you look at cheap food and you're like, oh, okay, this is how
Yeah.
much it should be. It's not the same when you go to a restaurant. Like,
Yeah.
remember, you're getting somebody to cook that food, plate it, and
Hmm.
put it on the plate. There's prep that's involved, there's service that's involved, there's overhead that's involved. Like, when you choose, and you can see it in some of these cities now, like you should see it,
Yeah.
like, appetizers 20, $30 now,
Oh, easy.
main courses, main courses 60, $70, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, you're right. You're getting 6 ounce steak for $60 now because of, just like a lot of people don't understand this. Like, it's just super important that you tie into overhead. You tie in your overhead
Yeah.
expenses You figure out what you need to make a day just to break even. You figure out what makes you profitable each day. Like a good example, and I'll just be candid. With Ember, I know exactly how much money we need to make in a day just to
Yeah.
be like, okay, we're breaking even today, right?
Yeah.
Because of what the rent is, the overhead is, and like, I'm not gonna lie, like, when we get into season, I'm gonna start trimming back like crazy expenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The things that I'm not directly using in my business, but I can urge like, your first year in business, make sure you have enough working capital.
Hmm.
That's the there's
That's the
so there's
toughest one
so
too.
much there's so much problems that you are going to come through. Like you're going to like, you have to remember restaurant food is perishable. It's
Yeah.
perishable inventory. It is, but it's also amazing because guess what? I remember telling myself or telling my father when I was younger, I want to be a chef and I want to work in restaurants because everybody has to eat.
Yeah.
Lit, little did I know that with having a brick and mortar restaurant, you have to worry about real estate taxes. You got to worry about insurance. You got to worry about
Yeah.
liability. You got to worry about workman's comp. You got to worry about paying your vendors on time. You got to worry.
Hmm.
There's so many other pieces to the puzzle. And the one biggest thing about restaurants that people don't understand is that there's no other businesses that people speculate or are, so upfront about, leaving reviews and trashing or
Yeah.
good reviews, right? And so it's just like, every single person that comes into the restaurant has an opinion.
Yeah.
It is what it
Always.
is. Somebody walks into Macy's, they're not leaving like, oh, it's just transactional. You know what I'm saying? So it's important, like, people understand that, like, no other business is like the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But you know just as well as I know, man, when you're in that rush, when you're in that freaking, when you're cooking and it's just like, you're in this ebb and flow of service, it makes it all worth it. When you
Correct.
see guests eat your food and they just like, hey, this is the bomb.com, it
Hmm.
makes all that hard work and dedication go away.
Yeah.
At Ember, we just had I don't know if it was prom or some sort of like high school dance. I don't know, over the weekend,
Oh.
but we were busy at both restaurants, and I was super happy. But guess what? We were severely understaffed, my guy. Like,
Yeah.
you
Of
know,
course.
but in my mind, I'm like, dude, fuck it, take as much as you can as before the wheels fall off because
Yeah.
we need the business.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that in this small town. Like, it's just super important. Like, man, we defend restaurants, man, like straight up.
Hmm.
Like, so yeah, it's just like, it's just one of those things, man. It's super, super important that, you lay it all out, but also like when you're going to open a restaurant, it's super important put a stake in the ground and move forward, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so how we discussed how to fund restaurants, the advices and stuff, the hidden costs. I do want to add one thing on the hidden costs that I didn't think of specifically for my end because I'm still kind of pop up ish, ghost kitchen, right? I had to change cars because my former car cannot hold the equipment. So this is more specifically for my end because I do tents and events and outside. So that was a cost that I didn't want to do, but I had to. I had to get a bigger
What,
car, longer
what did you
to
bump
fit a
up to?
tent. You have a what?
What? What did you bump up to? What did you?
Oh, Outback Legacy, Outback Subaru, I should say. So like station wagon, massive.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was.
Did
I
you?
was just like,
Did you?
damn,
Did you?
30 grand.
Yeah. Did you purchase the car under your LLC or did you purchase
I
it
did
in your personal? Yeah.
financed it
So
through my
like,
LLC. Yeah,
yeah. And see, that's what you got to do. And like, and this is why I encourage everybody. And you don't have to do this, but this is just my recommendation. And I give people this option. I now being a business owner, and you know, like I got a couple LLCs out there. Let's put it that way.
mm,
The I see the advantages of having a business and where like before I would just work for a paycheck, the paycheck pays for your living expenses, but then it's like, oh well, but I use this for business. So, I necessarily don't have to say that. Yeah, I don't have to use that.
correct,
But I'll,
correct,
t-
correct.
I'll tell you what, man, once I started switching things over, bro, my personal credit went through the freaking roof, man.
Yeah, yeah,
And I strongly urge, and I know this is kind of like, a lot of people don't understand this, but I don't understand why they don't teach this in school. I don't understand why they don't teach this in college, in high
yeah,
school. Just basic business. Like, dude, it just pisses me off. Good example. And I won't talk about the the restaurants, but I'll talk about Chef Authorized LLC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before I would do brand deals and I would do content and I would just, be just a person. I would just accept the income and I would just put it in my bank account and, and that was it. And then, you know what I mean? I just didn't think about it. But then, after I got smart, I, opened up Chef Authorized LLC in California and I got one here in Montana, but, California's just too expensive, bro. Oh my
Oh
God,
no, of
bro.
course.
900 bucks to file a LLC.
That's
Jeez.
ridiculous.
That's stupid, but it's California. But then what I realized is I would do these brand deals, right? And so let's just say for shits and giggles, it's $1,000, right?
Yeah.
Well, what you have to do is you have to save a little bit for taxes, right? And I'm telling you right now, if you just claim the $1,000 in, 98%, it's 99% profit,
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Sam's going to take some. But what I would
Oh
do
yeah.
is I would reinvest it back into, the equipment that I was using, right? So a mic, a
Mic, the
new camera,
camera,
instead
lights.
of, in, yeah, exactly. So you can build the business like that. It's the same with the restaurant. Same with with your tents and your pop up in your car and like, you got to take this at face value, right? Like, chef, you're an owner operator, which I am on the edge of every single day, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
one day the next, like, and I hate to say this, but I told because I have a chef at Ember and I have a chef at Grano, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful for that because it gives me the opportunity to do other things, right? And I tell them that, like, I don't want to be the chef operator because I
Yeah.
know exactly what that grind is. And I know I can make a lot. I know I can make a lot more money and I can save more money. I could draw a big salary from the restaurants, but
Mm-hmm.
dude, I don't want to, I want the freedom to do other things. And
Correct.
I'm willing to give up profit and I'm willing to give up payroll to be able to do that. Like, if
Yeah.
I want to take a trip with my family, I don't have to go when the restaurant's closed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
think that's super important to note. But I will say, like, I am always, depending on how much revenue the restaurant's making, I am always one step away from being an owner operator.
Oh,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying? Just is what it is.
I know.
It is. I told, and I feel bad, but like, and for everybody that doesn't really know, if your overhead is crushed, right? Like, let's say your overhead is too much, right? Your overhead is
Mm-hmm.
40% out of your 100%, right? The first thing to go is the top level salary. It is.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Always.
Like, the job that you can do is the first to go, and it just
Yeah.
is what it is. Like, and I hate to say it like that, and and I don't mean to say it like that, but you're not getting rid of your $10 an hour employee.
Of course.
You strike the leadership right away because
Yeah.
they're the reason why the restaurant is not profitable or not
Correct.
operating like it should, and you have to make it clear. And so it's just one of those things, man. It's like, speaking of profitability, though,
I was about to say profitable.
how long did it take for your restaurant to become profitable, and what strategies helped? I'll tell you what. I'll be the first one to chip away at the old block. Ember was profitable on month let's see, March, April, May, June, July. Ember was profitable
Month
in
four.
4 months.
Damn.
4 months we saw like 4% profit, and that quickly went away. Let me tell you. And obviously, Ember is very, very costly, and that quickly went away. And here's the thing, and I also recommend this, but Ember took a big loss last year, but there was a lot of things associated with that, not that weren't really, responsible for the restaurant P&L. It was more, we were building an event space, we were trying to open up Grano, we
Yeah.
had the butcher shop, like it was too much, man, and like the P&L took a huge hit, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's really important, and this leads me to my next thing: make sure you have a CPA or a bookkeeper, unless you're doing it all yourself. Like I would assume, like, because if you're under a $500,000, then you do it yourself, like it's fine.
Yeah.
But when you have a really good bookkeeper or accountant, you have them send you, hey, what are we looking like? Where's the business? What's the cash flow looking like?
Yeah.
Make sure you have inventory set up, because if you don't have inventory set up, you can't track your purchases. And it's just super important, whether it's an Excel sheet, back of the napkin, just get your food costs locked in, get your inventory locked in. There's
Yeah.
no need to have a $30,000 inventory. Trust me.
Oh,
I
dude.
can't stress enough, unless you're a big hotel. If you're a big
Yeah.
hotel, great. If you're doing under a million, if you're doing $1 million or less, man, you need a $10,000 inventory. That's it. Like
Yeah.
10%, because Now I will say, like here in Montana, sometimes we can't get things delivered, and
Yeah.
good example. We open up Grano. I'm ordering this special San Marzano tomato, right?
Yeah.
Big dog. It goes in 70% of the recipes, and
Yeah.
U.S. food, and I get it from U.S. Foods,
U.S.
and
foods.
it's a special order for us. And guess what? They were out one day. We got shorted one day. I'm like, okay, it's cool. We got 6 more cans, no problem. Next week, gone, not there.
Of
So
course.
guess what I did? I stockpiled it. I said, hey,
Give
I
me
need
a
to
pallet.
stockpile this. So we add that. I said, hey, no, hey, brother, get that number 10 can rack. And then we add a ton to inventory. So we have,
Yeah.
I think it was six cases, right?
Yeah.
Do I need it?
No.
Absolutely. You don't want to
But
run, you
just
don't
in
want to run
case.
out of that. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want to run out of your main ingredient for an Italian restaurant, right? Like, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Correct.
things like that are acceptable. Pizza flour, another one. We get it imported from Italy,
Hmm.
and it's just super important. We have that, locked in for a 3 week supply. Like,
Yeah.
and it's basically, it's on the balance sheet, meaning it doesn't affect the restaurant, but it's on the balance sheet.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's super, super important. Now, Grano was profitable, like right out of the gates, bro. Like, I hate to say
No,
it,
I
but
know.
2 months in, two
Yeah.
months in, we
Italian
started
joint.
pushing hard. Yeah, we started pushing hard, man. And like, I mean, this restaurant absolutely cannibalized the other restaurant, which is what,
Yeah.
which is a big, that's why I'll say, hey, don't open up two restaurants across the street from each other. You will
Yeah.
fuck yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But, I learned that the hard way.
No, I mean it's still good. So like, give you perspective. My inventory is like $400, bro. That's it. It's super thin. I just pick up whenever I need it. But the one thing I would say, like, a super, keep it super tight, super clean, super valid. Like, just don't spend more than you would for
For your personal
anything really.
groceries. Yeah.
Just
Like,
keep it so tight that you can fucking count at the back of your hand. Cause like, especially when you're just starting, even though I'm like 3 years in, I still keep it super tight. If I run out,
lean.
I run out.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that's how you have to do it, man. Like, I hate to say it, food is just way more expensive. So like, for people that don't understand, you have to purchase your inventory, your perishable inventory first, prepare it, and then you serve your customer, and you pay your vendor as you go. What I recommend
Yeah.
is having a bankroll of $10,000 to $20,000 that you could pay your vendor up. Get it, but at the end of the month, you got to rectify that cost, and that's how you get your
Yeah.
true food costs. And like, listen, I'm not gonna lie, man. Shipping and handling, delivery fees, all that shit goes under food cost, bro. That whole invoice is under the.
Always.
I don't fuck around. Freight into the food cost. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that's it's super important. Like, before, I didn't used to do that. When I worked at the hotel, I did not do that. I just, we just kind of ate it. But I had multiple outlets. So I had breakfast, room service 24 hours, lunch, dinner, banquets. It didn't matter. Freestanding restaurant, all of it. Give me the
Yeah.
invoice. I cut the portions, and I'm like, okay, I need to charge X amount of dollars. Now,
Hmm.
what do you mark up if you, like, let's say if you put a piece of pork belly that costs you $1 on the plate, what do you times it by to know that you're good for your food cost?
I'm like, I'm okay with 2.2x. Three is too
Uh-huh.
much. Usually
Nah, so I'm
everyone
at
here is at 3x. I can't justify doing it three. Then people won't buy it. So I have to unfortunately
yeah,
cut costs that way.
yeah. So that's a great point. I'm at 4.2x
Okay. Yeah.
for
You have
Ember.
to make it work.
I'm
So
at
like it is what it is.
4. Yeah,
At some point it's gonna have to
4.
be three. But for now it works at 2.2.
Yeah, 3 is my minimum. At Grano, we play the game with the menu mix. So
Yeah.
basically, like, we'll see what menu items are most profitable. We'll see which ones are losing us money. We'll see which ones are most popular, and then at the end of the
Hmm.
month, I'll drop whatever's not selling. Like,
Correct.
good example, if like it's expensive, it's expensive, but it's super easy to do and it takes minimal prep. Like, if it's a loss leader, like, I'm okay with it. Meaning, like,
Hmm.
good example, Costco chicken, right? Like, Costco chicken,
Yeah.
$5. If anybody,
Five
if
bucks.
anybody complains about Costco chicken, shut the fuck up. Okay,
For
five
real.
dollars, bro. It's $5, man. I get it every single time. I'm tired of people bashing Costco chicken. It's $5. You get
Hmm.
what you pay for. I don't care if it's pumped with freaking xanthan gum and
Juices or whatever to make it juicy.
yeah,
I don't give a shit.
yeah,
$5, dude.
that's just delicious, bro. Yeah, but anyway, to go back to that, like, I think, we have this baked, and I'll close it out. We have this baked brie appetizer on the menu. It's a French dish in an Italian restaurant. It comes with French baguette, but it's one of those things where, hey, KC, you just put it in the oven. olive oil,
Yeah.
thyme, garlic. You know what I'm saying? You don't. There's zero prep except for cutting the
Correct.
cheese and cutting the bread. And so it's one of those things. It's one of those menu items that you have to have that's not prep intensive. Now, on the
Yeah.
other hand, lasagna is going to be more expensive because the labor that goes into making lasagna, and that's
Yeah.
what you have to do to make sure you have a profitable menu mix. And so, with that being said, we're going to close it out. Hey, thank you guys for watching. It's really important. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, I know only 50 people see this, but hey, leave us questions. We love talking about the restaurant business. Casey and I love. We're super passionate about it. Leave us comments, questions, and we'll respond for sure.
All right, peeps. We out.